bartender Deborah Gilhooly is suing her ex-boyfriend, business owner Alan Nelson, for the value of a car and for half the cost of a trip to Las Vegas. Alan is countersuing for vandalism to his vehicle.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 149 on the calendar, the matter of Gilhooly versus Nelson.
Thanks, Bert.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Miss Gilhooly, according to your complaint, the defendant was your boyfriend. You lived together for a period of time. You no longer live together, no longer boyfriend and girlfriend, but you claim that he owes you for a car, that he owes you for half of a trip to Las Vegas. The defendant says that the trip to Vegas was a gift. He doesn't discuss the car, which you have. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And you are counterclaiming because you say that Miss Gilhooly, in a fit of rage, vandalized your car to the tune of $4,700.
That's correct.
Okay. How long did you live together?
15 months, Your Honor.
15 blissful months. When did it start and when did it end?
We met in January and ended April 28th of this year.
Now, tell me about the car.
Your Honor, I purchased the vehicle on January 12th.
And you say you purchased a vehicle.
Correct.
I'm reading between the lines in your complaint when you say you purchased a vehicle. Am I correct that it was supposed to be his car, but he was supposed to pay for it?
Correct.
You took out the loan.
Correct.
Down payment? Who put down the down payment?
Basically, Your Honor, it was a cashier's check. It was paid in full. I took out a personal loan, and the car was purchased by a cashier's check.
And the car was to be his car with monthly payments being made to you to pay back the loan?
Correct.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
And how much was the total amount of the car that you
The
paid?
vehicle was $2,700.
What kind of car is it?
It's a 93 GMC Jimmy.
Did you pay her back?
No.
Why not?
Well, I was paying the payments until August 20th when we broke up. She
said you broke up in April.
Well, April 28th is when we broke up. Until then, I made payments all the way until April. Last payment I made was April 10th. And then April 28th, when the vandalism was done to the vehicle, I had to get the vehicle fixed eventually.
I see. So the vehicle that she vandalized was this vehicle?
Yes.
So you decided not to make any payments on
Not
it?
until like I owed her anything because she vandalized my vehicle and did the damage.
Gotcha. How much did you pay totally on the car?
I gave her $300 totally towards the loan on the vehicle.
Is that right?
He gave me more, Your Honor. He made 3 payments of, I have it out to $410.
$410. You see how honest she is?
Okay. Yeah.
So that means that you still owe her $22.90 on the car.
Right.
Now tell me about the trip to Las Vegas.
Alan and I were scheduled to leave on a Friday afternoon, and he did not get his paychecks in time. And I stated to Alan, I'm going with or without you, because I was meeting family out there. And he stated to me that he would pay me when I got back.
Your arrangement with him was you would pay for his plane fare.
We drove, Your Honor.
So what kind of expenses did you have when you were there?
Hotel, restaurant, gambling fees, things of that nature.
And what was the total amount?
The total amount for the Vegas trip came out to $1,869.13. I'm asking for $934.56.
Now you tell me your version of the Vegas trip.
Well, the Vegas trip was, I really didn't want to go because I'm pretty busy with my work and stuff. And she wanted me to go, and I said, well, I really can't afford to go, and I've got to keep my job and keep busy because we had kind of a slow winter this year. So she goes, well, you come out because she wanted me to meet her family. All of her family was going to be out there. And she goes, well, we got to go out there, and I want to go out there, and I want you to come with me. So I said, well, how's this trip going to work? And she goes, well, I'll take care of it. If you can pay me back, you can pay me back. And if you can't, you can't. That was the arrangements. But then at the time...
just a second. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So she said, I'll take care of it. And if you can pay me back, you'll pay me back. And if you can't, you can't? Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What kind of work were you doing, Mr. Nelson, at the time that you went on the Vegas trip?
I was working in the heating and air conditioning business, which I do. I do new construction. Plus, we were remodeling, we were finishing her basement in her house.
What work were you doing, Mr. Nelson? You may think that you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You don't.
Okay.
When was the Vegas trip?
The end of March, Your Honor.
The end of March of this year?
Yes.
Who were you working for where you got a paycheck or cash every week or every 2 weeks?
My job.
Well, what was your job, sir?
Doing my job, heating and air conditioning construction.
Heating and air conditioning and construction.
Yep.
Are you still working for the same company?
I worked for a few different builders.
Is this your busy season?
Yep.
This season?
Yeah, summer.
Summer is your busy season?
Yep.
Is it busier than it was in March? Or the same?
About the same.
Good. So that you can pay her back. The contract was you would go on the trip to Vegas, and according to you, if you can pay her back, you will. And if you can't, you can't. But you can, because you have a job and you have money, so you can pay her back. Right? Perfect. So it wasn't a gift. You just told me what the terms of the contract were. You got it, Mr. Nelson?
Yep.
Good. Tell me about the vandalism to your car.
Okay, here's some pictures, Your Honor.
No, tell me about when it happened, sir.
Well, we were at the bar on April 28th, 2002. It happened about 5:30. I ran into a few friends at a local bar that I hang out in where I grew up. And Debbie doesn't like the person that I met. She got angry. She had a few beers in her. She was intoxicated. She went off and sat in the corner by herself at the bar. And we didn't talk for 30 minutes. Then she came back to me. And then she asked me, well, I want the keys to the truck. I said, no, you can't drive the truck. You're drunk. Oh, no. And she goes, no, my little brother was there. My brother Kevin was there. And he offered to give her a ride home. So then they walked out, and then she just started going crazy on my truck. And then she comes back in the place, and she goes,
what do you mean start going crazy?
She just started riding over, lipstick all over, key in the vehicle, pulling on bent the antenna, broke my wipers off. And I got pictures to prove damage.
I'd like to take a look at the pictures. Did you damage his truck?
I wrote on the vehicle, yes, Your Honor.
Did you key it?
No, I wrote with the ballpoint pen.
Well, if you wrote with a ballpoint pen, that means it scratched it.
Right, but it wasn't a key. Sorry.
Keyed, wrote with a ballpoint pen. Well, you can't do that.
I understand that.
Did you do anything to his antenna?
I bent it, but I put it back. I'm sorry.
So what does your car need? A new paint job?
Yeah, I have an estimate here for you, too.
The estimate better be a real cheap estimate, sir.
Oh, I got more damage. There's still more pictures.
Listen to me.
Okay.
You paid $2,700 for this car.
Yep.
You think I'm going to let you paint it and fix it for $5,600?
No, I didn't ask for that.
You think I'm going to let you paint it and fix it for $4,700, which is what your counterclaim is?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wrong. In whose name is the car titled?
My name. And right now there's a loan against it.
Really?
Yeah.
For what?
I had to pay for the transfer case, and transmission went out after her and I separated. And I had to take a loan against it to get it out of the shop. And it was $2,600, and I borrowed $3,000 against it.
Somebody gave you $3,000 against a $2,700 car?
Yep.
That's why banks are failing.
Can I see the evidence as far as that lien? And
Sure. I'll show you the pictures. Do you have the lien?
I also,
don't have a lien with
I
me
also
now,
have pictures too.
But I have
Your Honor.
pictures, too, of this more that I want to show you. This profanity that's on the vehicle.
She wrote all over your car.
But 42 years old? That's, I mean, a 17-year-old kid wouldn't even do that. I mean, come on, she's 42 years old. Come on. How
old are you?
27. How mental stable is that?
What? You probably did the wrong thing.
So take it out of my vehicle, then I got to drive around this
No.
vehicle that says F you all over it, all kinds of profanity all over it. I got to drive it all over the place.
What? It's a car that you don't have to drive anywhere. You didn't pay for it.
But I did do work for her in her house. I did remodel. I did do the basement.
Were you living in the house?
Yes, I was.
How much rent were you paying?
I was paying whatever I could afford to pay her. But then I was.
Listen to me. That's not an answer.
Okay.
So you worked off your rent?
$10,000 worth.
Yeah, well, you know, some people are more expensive than others. Ms. Kahuli, you see, your problem is that he owes you $22.90 for the car.
Okay.
He could probably get the car painted and buffed out or whatever, so it would look reasonable. At least he wouldn't walk around looking like a large profanity sign, you know, for $500–600. Or maybe he did. Did you have it painted, by the way?
No, I have not done it yet.
So you're driving around with a car that is really terrible looking.
Yeah.
Your Honor, he buffed out the word liar. I have pictures of that, too.
He what?
He buffed out the word liar. You got that out of the vehicle.
Well, you know, when you have a temper tantrum, you got to pay for your temper tantrum.
I understand.
And your temper tantrum's got to cost you some money. So I'm issuing a judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,624. I have deducted the $600 so that Mr. Nelson can get his car painted.
Yes, Your Honor.
Modestly painted. And I suggest that you both go, be happy. You have had no contact since April?
A little bit, not much.
What do you mean a little bit, not much?
We're trying to set up appointments to meet, but it's over. I've got my wife's been on. I've got a kid on the way, so.
Got a kid on the way?
Yes.
When?
It's due February.
Oh, when did you get married?
I am not married.
Wunderbar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor. You may step out.
Mr. and Mrs. Reiniger, it is your claim that the defendant's dog damaged some property of yours. Tell me about that.
Somewhere around the second or third week of February, we found the dog wandering around our home.
What kind of dog was it?
Black Labrador. We saw he had a tag on with a telephone number on it. So we took the dog in, and I made a phone call. The phone number that we called was disconnected. I looked on the computer on a reverse directory, and I found the address. We went to the home. We noticed that there was nobody home. It was about a mile away from our home. And we had left a note that we had found the dog.
And you kept the dog in your house?
In our backyard. We have 2.5 acres fenced in. 2 or 3 days, we kept going back to see if anybody was there. We had also called animal control to let them know if anybody phoned in that they had a missing dog, that we had him. Finally, on a Monday, I had gone by the house again, and there was a car in the driveway, and I asked them if they were missing a dog, and Mr. Lignar said, yes, you have my Sammy, and they have a big fenced-in yard, and he said, our problem is he keeps jumping out. At that point, I said, would you like to come and get him? He says, well, where do you live? I said, about a mile down the road. At that point, he said, no. He says, just open the door, let him out, tell him Poppy's home, and he'll come home by himself. So I was on my way back, and then I saw Mrs. Lignar coming to get the dog. So we stopped in the street. The dog went and got in the truck with her.
Okay, so she actually then came to the dog.
Yes, she was on her way there. A week, 2 weeks went by. All of a sudden, we look in the backyard, and there's Sammy scaling our fence in our backyard, and now he's got a longer piece of chain attached to him. So he was with us again for a couple of days, and by now he had started.
Did you call them again?
Yes, we did. We tried calling, and nobody was answering. So at this point, I was starting to get a little fed up, and I said, this is ridiculous. They had told us the last time that they had gone to Daytona for 4 days, and apparently the dog was left unattended for 4 days while they were away. At this point now, I had already contacted the humanitarians who I work with. I work with Animal Rescue, and I work with several animal organizations. They were all willing to come and take Sammy if they did not want him. Now, we started noticing he was digging huge holes in the backyard, and he was digging out our shrubs. And now he was at the point where he was jumping over our fence and jumping back. Then we had a phone call. We had a message on our answering machine from Mr. Lignar saying, I know that you have my dog. I'd like you to bring my dog back. So we brought the dog back, and I guess my husband met with Mrs. Lignar and said, your dog has done several $100s worth of damages to our shrubs, our hedges, our fences, our bushes. You need to have someone come over and take a look at the damages. Well, they never came back. Well, Sammy must have come back 2 or 3 more times and kept jumping over our fence. At one point, we had him in our screened-in porch while he went through our screened porch. It's 2 years old, and it was custom built. The final straw was 2 o'clock in the morning. He came over our fence again, and we have a doggy door because we have 4 dogs of our own. Well, he came in through the doggy door, and he jumped into bed with our 4-year-old and our 2-year-old and scared the living daylights out of them. And to this day, we cannot get our kids to sleep in their own bed because they're terrified that this dog is going to come in and scare them.
Go ahead.
We have estimates. We have pictures of the damage of what the house looked like before Sammy, after Sammy. And what we did was we just went to a local gardening store and got estimates on how much it would cost to replace the plants and the shrubs. And we got an estimate from the people who did the screen on how much it would cost to repair. These are the before and after pictures of Sammy. And these
How
are
old
the
was
estimates.
Sammy?
I believe they told me at the time that he was a little over a year old.
Okay, who's going to speak for your family?
Me, Your Honor.
Okay, I'd like to hear you.
Well, the dog got loose when we were in Daytona. My daughter was coming over to feed my animals. Okay.
How many animals do you have?
I have 1 black lab and 2 cats.
And the black lab was kept outside?
Yeah, he was outside dog.
Never comes in your house?
No, he comes in. She doesn't like because of the dog here and stuff, but I sneak him in.
So the dog was outside day and night when you were away?
Yes.
Didn't you ever hear of a kennel?
Yes, ma'am.
So what's wrong with a kennel?
Well, he protects the house. If anybody tries...
That protects the house if he's not there.
Well, somebody let him loose.
No.
Oh, yes.
Well, they didn't let him loose.
Well...
They didn't let him loose.
One of the neighborhood kids has let him loose before. You know,
So if you know that happened before, then you should have taken steps and used a kennel.
well, what I can't understand is they said Sammy turned around and broke the chain. Well, I have the dog's chain right here.
Well, we didn't have a ghost dog. It was your dog.
Yes, ma'am.
They did not go and get your dog. So why didn't, when they presented you with these bills, why didn't you take care of them?
I wasn't home at the time.
Well, what makes you think you're not responsible for these bills?
I don't see it's my dog's doing it. You know, maybe once or twice, but, you know, they have pictures every day that they said it was my dog. There's neighbors got other black labs, and they have a female black lab.
So?
Now, how do I know their dog didn't do it?
You don't, except that they say so. Did the Chronicles ever call you and indicate to you that they could place the dog?
No, she did not. If she did, she got somebody else's phone number.
Well, let's go back to the first time they came. Mrs. Reiniger says that the first time she came and said she has your dog because she had to go and find you, you said, well, just open the gate and tell him Poppy's home and he'll go home. Does that sound right to you?
No, I told her, I said, where's the dog at? She says, my house, chained up, in her backyard. Well, if you were going to get rid of a dog...
So what did you tell her to do?
I told her, unchain the dog, tell him to come home, he'll come home. If not, I'll come down and get him.
Is that stupid?
No.
I mean, is there something wrong with you? Your dog's been missing, you're gone. Somebody, total stranger, goes to the trouble of finding out where you live.
This was the second time.
I'm talking about the first time. Finding out where you live, coming to your home and saying, we have your dog, we've taken care of your dog while you've been on vacation in Daytona. Okay, we've taken care of your dog and protected your dog. Wasn't hit by a car, was fed, was cared for. And instead of you getting into your car and going over there and saying, thank you very much, I'm sorry for any trouble or inconvenience, you say, oh, just open up the door, let him go, tell him Poppy's home. What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know where she got this Poppy stuff from.
Probably from you.
No, you're wrong.
Yeah. And it kept happening again and again and again. So clearly, something was wrong with the security system that you had, unless you believe that these people came and stole your dog out of your yard.
They might have done that too.
Are you under psychiatric care?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Are you under psychiatric care? You on any medication?
No.
And then you're just being a smart mouth. Where is Sammy now? How is it that he hasn't been back to your house in how long?
It's been quite a while.
Where is he now?
She had him, my wife
I
had
had him
him.
put to sleep.
Why did you have him put to sleep?
While all this has been going on, I had taken Sammy to get him neutered. And when I took him in to get him neutered, he was diagnosed with heartworm. So I had to have him put to sleep.
You don't put a dog to sleep who has heartworm. You treat him.
No, they said it was too
They said
too
he
far
was
gone.
into the advanced stages, so...
Well, if he was in the advanced stages, it means you weren't giving him heartworm medication, which you're supposed to give your dogs. That's what dogs get, heartworm pills. So you don't, especially they're outdoor dogs. Why weren't you giving the dog proper pills?
We were.
If a dog is getting heartworm medication regularly, they do not get heartworm. Unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Reiniger, you're only suing for $470. I say that unfortunately because these are the most irresponsible people that I've met in a long time. That's just damage to your yard and your property and not for the trauma that Sammy caused when he just came into the room. He didn't hurt your children, but he came in the middle of the night. Your lawsuit seeks $470. Judgment for the plaintiff. Don't get any more dogs.
Bodies are excused.